You don't start because you don't feel called. You don't act because you don't feel aligned. You don't commit because you're afraid it's the wrong direction. So you wait. And while you wait, bills don't, aging doesn't, opportunities don't, time doesn't. Time never waits. It just watches you hesitate. And if time had a face, it'd be smiling. Want to know something brutal? The men you admire, they didn't wake up with purpose. They built momentum. That's it. They stopped asking the grand question long enough to answer the small one. What's next? Not the perfect move, not the guaranteed move, not the Instagram-worthy move, just the next one. And you know what's funny? Most of it was boring, uninspiring, repetitive. The gym when it felt pointless. The work nobody applauded. The call they didn't want to make. The mistake they had to own. Small, boring, repetitive. That's the foundation of everything you think is profound. You want meaning? Stack enough right moves, and meaning shows up exhausted from chasing you. But you won't like that answer, because it removes the romance. It removes the myth. It removes the excuse. See, waiting for purpose is comfortable. It lets you blame your inaction on existential depth. I'm just searching. No, you're postponing. You think the gym feels pointless some mornings? Of course it does. But pointlessness is just your ego, throwing a tantrum because there's no applause. You think your job feels beneath you? Maybe it is. But sitting on your couch judging it doesn't make you superior. It makes you still. And stillness? Stillness is decay with a Netflix subscription. You think that project won't matter in 5 years? You're right, it probably won't. But the discipline you build doing it, that will. Purpose isn't discovered, it's accumulated, like calluses, one repetition at a time. And here's where it gets uncomfortable, the part you really don't want to hear. The reason you crave a grand purpose is because you want your suffering to feel justified. You want a reason for the pain, for the rejection, for the boredom, for the loneliness. You want it to mean something, and maybe it will, but not today. Today it just means there's another move to make, and yours another move to make, and you're avoiding it. Girlfriend leaves? You don't spiral into philosophy. You don't write poems about destiny. You don't scroll through her pictures at 3 a.m. asking the universe, why? You feel it. You absorb it. Then you do the next thing. Shower, eat, lift, text a friend, delete the pictures, sleep. Not because it heals everything instantly, but because stagnation kills faster than heartbreak. Job draining you? You don't need a passion epiphany. You need leverage, skill, options. So you learn something, get competent. Competence becomes confidence. Confidence becomes opportunity. Opportunity becomes direction. And direction? Direction feels a lot like purpose. But it wasn't divine. It was built, brick by boring brick. You think the men who look like they have it figured out feel inspired every morning? No, they feel obligated. Obligated to the standard they built yesterday. That's the shift. Not inspiration, obligation. Not to the world, to themselves. The version of you that did the hard thing yesterday expects consistency today. That's meaning. Not fireworks, not cosmic signs. Consistency. You feel lost? Good. Lost means you're not chained to someone else's script anymore. Now, pick a direction, any direction, and move. You don't steer a parked car. You steer motion. That's physics, and it applies to your life too. You're waiting for clarity, but clarity follows action, never the other way around. You think the next move has to be huge? It doesn't. It just has to be yours. Drink water instead of soda. Read 10 pages instead of scrolling. Apply to one job instead of complaining about the system. Send one uncomfortable email. Apologize once. Refuse once. Choose once. One decision repeated becomes identity. Identity repeated becomes trajectory. Trajectory repeated becomes destiny. And suddenly you look back 5 years later and think, damn, I guess this is my purpose. No, this is just the compound effect of small decisions you stopped overthinking. You romanticize men with mission statements, but the real killers, the quiet ones, they just execute. They don't debate meaning every morning. They move, and meaning trails behind, like smoke. Want to know another lie? You think if you pick the wrong direction, you're doomed. You're not that important. Most paths teach you something. Even failure sharpens you. The only irreversible mistake? Stagnation. You don't fear choosing wrong. You fear committing. Because commitment removes the safety of what if? What if I could have been great? What if I had potential? Potential is the most addictive drug. It lets you feel superior without producing results. Purpose talk feeds potential addiction. Moving kills it. And that's why it works. You want to feel less lost? Stop zooming out. Zoom in. What's in front of you? Handle that. Then the next thing. And the next. Stop narrating your life like it's a movie. It's not. It's a sequence of decisions. The more decisions you make intentionally, the less you need a grand explanation. You'll notice something strange. The anxiety quiets. Not because you found the meaning of existence, but because you're too busy building it. An idle mind obsesses over purpose. A moving mind accumulates it. That void you feel sometimes, that hollow, what's the point? It's not a philosophical crisis. It's unused energy. Move. The void shrinks. Sit still and analyze it. It grows teeth. Me? I don't wait for purpose. I create standards, and I live up to them daily. Some days sloppy, some days sharp, but always moving. Because momentum is mercy. Momentum forgives doubt. Momentum silences overthinking. Momentum builds identity. You don't need purpose. You need motion. And motion is built on the next available move. Not the perfect one, not the inspiring one, the available one. And when that alarm hits tomorrow, and that question creeps back in, what's the point? Don't answer it philosophically. Answer it physically. Get up. Move. Handle what's in front of you. Let the abstract wait. Because meaning isn't found in thinking. It's found in repetition. And repetition turns chaos into direction. You don't need a calling. You need a choice. Made today, and tomorrow, and again, until one day you wake up and realize you stopped waiting. And that's when life starts moving with you instead of without you. No lightning bolt, no divine whisper, just the quiet confidence of a man who does the next thing without drama. That's purpose. It just doesn't announce itself. It accumulates. And it's built by men who stopped asking for permission to matter. So here's the real question. Not, what's my purpose? But, what's the next thing I'm avoiding? Because that's usually it. The thing you keep postponing, that's the move. Do it. Then ask again. Do that one too. Repeat. And watch how the ghost of purpose stops haunting you and starts looking suspiciously like discipline. Funny how that works, isn't it? You spent your whole life waiting for a sign from the universe, when the universe was waiting for you to just move. Tick, tock. The clock doesn't care if you're inspired. It doesn't care if you found your purpose. It doesn't care if you feel ready. It just ticks. And every tick is a choice. Move or stay still. One builds something. The other rots. Your move. What's it gonna be?